always tell people marriage is a beautiful thing, but it's a mindset that comes with marriage that you have to have before you get into it.
Real talk.
And I told her at like 24, 25, I was like, I'm not getting married till I'm 29 or 30. And she was like, why? You still, it's a party, especially at that age, you're still selfish.
I feel like until you get a queen, then you're not a king.
I'm in it 2 years, a little over 2 years now, and it's an up and down ride.
But I figured out like it was pretty cool for me to get married at an older age, than at a younger age.
I throw out the first word.
Anybody married in here?
I'm engaged.
Divorced.
Married.
That's good. That's definitely tilted.
Yeah.
So what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what 60%. That's
the word.
That's a lot higher than average.
Right.
So I mean, I just know it's compromised.
Yeah, I've been in it for 13 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's compromised. What my folks told me was that you have to maintain some form of individuality.
Mm-hmm.
I believe
in order to make it equal out. It is compromised to a certain degree, because if you're going to make the relationship work, you don't want to give up all of you. You don't even want to really give up any of you.
Yeah.
But you have
some got to go.
Some got to give. You can't keep everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't keep it all. I mean, you got to let it go in order for some other stuff to enter into your life and replace that to make the thing kind of, So that's what I figured out about it, because I got married when I was 33. I'm 46. So I did, I kicked it just like everybody else, you know what I'm saying? But I figured out like it was pretty cool for me to get married at an older age, than at a younger age.
Yeah. You believe like I believe. I like this.
Yeah, because, I feel you have to find yourself. Mm-hmm. I feel that society has placed a lot of burdens on us to get married, but what we have to understand that things are progressive. Mm-hmm. This is not the 1800s, homie.
It ain't the end all be all.
It ain't the end all be all.
I've been in it 2 years, a little over 2 years now, and it's an up and down ride. And what I guess me and my homeboys we talk about is I'm very blessed. I have an awesome wife. One of the main things that our biggest issue is just communication. Mm-hmm. And I put some of that on me because I internalize a lot of things. And a lot of arguments come because I didn't say something or she didn't say something. Mm-hmm. And, but, man, I got married when I was like 27. And just talking with my homeboys, it's like, man, when you're in your 30s, I think that's like the golden age because 20-year-olds like you, the 30-years like you, the 40-years like you. It's like, it's coming from all directions, man. And it's tough.
I got you.
But man,
just loud and clear.
I just think about how mad she'll be like if I ever mess up, man. Cause I made her cry one time and that did it for me. Just knowing that I did something wrong and just seeing her tears, they were real tears. Like I hurt her. It just hurt me. Yeah. But man, it's tough out there.
Yeah.
And I would say, from my perspective, I got married at 24.
Oh.
So I was one of the part of the young men that got married young.
Right.
Because of the atmosphere that my ex-wife and I grew up in was a church atmosphere. Y'all grew up in church, y'all like each other, y'all date, y'all get married, y'all gonna have babies. The only problem was, I can say now at 29, I'm not the same person I was at 24.
Right.
So that sense of discovery of who I was as a person, I didn't know what that was.
Right.
So I got married because that's what the culture said.
Yeah.
But we come to find out when we got married, we really didn't even date as much. We spent a lot of time around each other, but we really didn't date till we got married.
Right.
And then I applied to, we were living in Kansas City at the time. I applied to DPD in April of 2013. We got married in May of 2013, and we moved here in September of 2013. So with coming into a marriage,
that's a lot of
and then throwing moving away from our parents and all that good stuff to a new city, it was a whole lot of transition.
Yeah.
And then when you said that about communication, I think that's the most important key in relationships is understanding that men and women communicate differently. We don't communicate the same. I tried to spend my early years trying to get her to communicate like me, not realizing that it's meant for us not to communicate the same way.
Right.
We have to humble ourselves to say, okay, I understand what you're saying, but this is how I feel when you said that. But being a police officer, though, that kind of jacked me up because I'm used to me communicating, or whatever I say, that's what it's going to be.
Right.
And I had to realize.
Command.
Yes. And I command really good, too.
Yeah.
But I had to realize that even not just with police, but with any career, if you're not careful, you will bring that same mindset from the world into your house. You can't do that. You can't do that. So her and I now, we still talk. Actually, I talked to her on my way here. We're still in good communication, good company with each other. But we also talked about the learning curve of getting married so young. I always tell people, marriage is a beautiful thing, but it's a mindset that comes with marriage that you have to have before you get on it.
Real talk.
I like what man Vinny Vegas said, and we started talking about this topic. I told my wife, we dated off and on, really the back end of college. Your first couple years out of college, when you get back to wherever you're from, this, that, and the third. And I told her at like 24, 25, I was like, I'm not getting married until I'm 29 or 30. And she was like, why? I said, because I'm a man, and it's not in fact that I wanted to be out there and do my things. It's like, but you still, as a party, especially at that age, you're still selfish.
Oh,
that's it. You still want to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I remember I told her one day, I was like, no man has any business getting married before at least 29, 30 years old.
I'd agree with
And she's like, why do you? I said, because we selfish. So just by nature,
And we slow. We slower than women.
That too.
Naturally.
That too. And you brought up as a man, if you have any type of real, male role model, your job is to get up and go. You trying to get something done, it's on you. Go. Nobody will give you anything.
Right.
So the thought of sacrificing your time, your energy, your thoughts, your emotions, all that stuff to somebody else at that point, 24, 25 years old, that's not even on the radar.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not even on the radar. I think me personally, I was in control. I just didn't. It's not that I didn't care, but it didn't register. Versus like, hey, I'm trying to build this career.
Right.
Like, I love you, but just me knowing just how I was operating at the time, like I'm giving everything I got when I go to work. So there's no way I can sit up here, and I got a lot of respect for her dad and her older brother. So there's no way I'm gonna sit here and say, I'm gonna take care of your daughter, I'm gonna take care of your sister, knowing, man, at the end of the day, I got nothing to give anybody.
Right.
I go home, I turn the lights out in my apartment, I go to sleep, I take a nap. So how can I expect to be even halfway decent husband at that point in time?
Yeah.
And I think it was probably the best decision I made. I got married at 29 and change, and we just hit 3.5 years. And I see by the time people say, "Well, how do you know?" Like, you know, and I got my winner. Like, I'm good to go. I think as far as what's healthy for a relationship, you said communication, you said independence. I told my wife 2 days before we got married. You had at the hotel, all the functions and stuff. I said, hey, when we get married, just keep being you. Don't flip on me.
Don't flip.
Don't flip on me. Don't worry about what expectations you think somebody else might. No, I married you for you. So when we exchange these rings and say these vows, and the man say kiss your bride, just keep being you. Just keep trying to be the best version of you, and we're gonna be all right.
And I said, and I know it's your turn, but that's the thing that my wife hit me with. From day one. Like I met her March 28th. We got married June 3rd. You feel me?
Quick.
You feel me?
You knew what time it was. Quick.
Yeah, that was just like that. You know what I'm saying? And she's never tried to change me. She's like pushed me to be better, to be progressive. Not even just better. It's a difference.
You're right. Yeah. I think it's a hell of a thing when you got somebody who believe in you at a certain point, because you go through stuff as a man, ups and downs and roller coasters. I think it's a hell of a thing to be with somebody who believes in you more than you believe in yourself at certain times.
Yeah.
I think I say it all the time, like smiles and frowns, ups and downs. Like whatever it is that's gonna come down the pipe, we're gonna go through it together, we're gonna see our way out of it together.
Yeah, definitely will. My philosophy, you have to be at a point to where you ready to be with somebody for the rest of your life. And just as men, like you said, we're too selfish at first. Unless you're advanced. And most men, we're going to take care of us first. and then we'll get a family next. And so, you know, me at 35, I understand now that that's the level of progression. And the only way to level up in life is to have that accountability partner. And you know, that person next to you is your accountability partner most of the time, unless you're just type A to where you don't need anyone. But just far as me and my philosophy, I feel like until you get a queen, then you're not a king. Because she's gonna be that first person that says, okay, you know, I love you, but you messing up. And you know, unless you're just that accountability person, then you need that person. So me, that's why at 35, I'm ready now. But anytime before that, nah, I wasn't even gonna play with it. That's why we're not even gonna do that, because I'm not gonna fool myself. And I'm gonna keep it real with myself at least, you know, and that's just what it was. So
you mentioned the word argument. Do y'all agree? Like we don't even argue at my house. Like, you know, if there's something that we disagree upon, or if I find myself she's talking to me a certain way and been like, okay, like I can tell she's upset I messed up. You know, they always talk about, like, you know, we as men here, well, wah. A lot of times when she's talking, and I'll tell her, she's like, don't tune me out. But as she's talking, I'm listening to her talking, I'm having an internal conversation with myself.
Yeah.
And I'll ask myself, like, you know what? She's upset for whatever reason. I ask myself, okay, well, did you do something, or is there something that you could have done to avoid the situation, or there's something that you did that caused the situation? And if the answer is yes, I say, you know what, you're right. I'll just own it. And for a minute, she was like, don't cut me off. I was like, no, I'm not cutting you off. I'm telling you, I'm not a big enough of an a-hole to sit here and argue with you when I know I'm dead wrong.
Right.
I'm just gonna own it.
Right. And call this fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, hey, Your Honor, I plead guilty. I'm gonna take my medicine, whatever it is. You know, it could be something as simple as, hey, you left that light on, or hey, I asked you to do something, you didn't do it. But whatever it is, I feel like things go a lot smoother if you know in your gut if you did something wrong, just own it.
Yeah.
Own it. She'll stop talking, and once she understands you just owning it and not trying to be a-hole about it, things go a lot better versus you just sitting there arguing with her just for the sake of arguing.
Right.
When you argue 15, 20 minutes, I tell all the time, like, we don't need to argue, because people who yell and scream at each other, well, guess what?
Right.
When this is all over with, your head gonna hurt, my head gonna hurt, and you still gonna have the same problem when everybody calm down.
Sure. My wife and I understand her now. In the heat of the moment, she's gonna say things that she really doesn't mean. But I know now, if I say what really bothers me, she's gonna tune it out at that moment. But like you said, she's gonna internalize it, and I notice that she tries to make those changes later on. In the heat of the moment, my wife is not gonna be wrong. It's just her.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person where I'm like, I'm wrong, whatever, you know.
I'll own it in a minute.
But my wife is not gonna be wrong. But I noticed if I say it later on, she's gonna change it. I've noticed that in her.
Yeah.
I don't even believe in getting to the heat of the moment, because like I said, people say stuff they don't mean, but I think sometimes you can get to that point to where, okay, the hurricane blew the house down. It can't be, okay, well, I was sorry. Well, hell, the house is gone now.
Yeah.
Well, see, me and my wife, we talk about this all the time.
Sorry, ain't gonna build it back up quick, you know?
I grew up in houses, where people arguing bad. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, go on
Like
ahead.
she did too. So it was never conflict resolution.
It was just conflict.
It was just conflict, and you just woke up the next day like ain't nothing happened.
It ain't nothing really
what I'm
getting
saying?
solved.
It ain't nothing get. You just got tired of arguing. You know what I'm saying? You got tired of
So
fighting.
your head hurt.
Yeah, my head hurt, and everybody's sleeping tired. Like you tired.
You
know
wake
what
up
I
the next
mean?
morning like you done been beat up, and you just arguing
you
with
just been
somebody.
arguing.
Yeah.
I mean, blood pressure and veins and muscles and everything. So what we've learned how to do is, you have to think about how you were raised
That's key.
and talk about that
Yep.
with your partner.
Yeah.
Breaking cycles.
Yeah, but that's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's communication.
Yeah, like you said, you gotta understand. Like, I understand my fiance. I know how she is. So now we can come to that realization that whenever you step to that point, then I know I need to back up.
Right.
So it won't get to that point, but we're gonna talk about it because she's the type of person that we have to talk about it and come up with a plan soon. Like you said,
She ain't gonna let it blow over.
yeah, well, see, like he said, we just gonna go to sleep and then we gonna be okay in the morning. Like, she doesn't let anything just happen because she's a administrator, so she plans everything.
Oh,
so
yeah,
if something
yeah,
comes
that's my
up,
wife.
we got to have a plan of action.
Right.
like we not
Ain't
going
no
to
winging
sleep.
it.
We don't want to plan that.
Ain't no winging.
Ain't no
Those
winging
are things where we'll just figure it
Yeah,
out.
because
Right.
that's
No.
how I am. So she is far right, I'm far left. And we just come together right here. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I don't have time. I just need to make it happen. And when we get to the finish line, we won. Like, I might have tripped and fell and went over and jumped over something, but we won.
Right.
You know, she's like, no, you need to make a left and a right and then duck down, and then that's her.
Right.
But then we win.
Right.
You ain't worried about Google Maps. Just tell me what it said. I'll get there.
Listen,
Right, got it.
and that's just me.
And something else I would say to add to it, especially speaking from a divorce perspective, and I'll be transparent. The reason why my ex-wife and I got divorced is because I had an affair, multiple affairs on her. She didn't know about it. But prior to the affairs, what I would say is we mentioned the word conflict, and that's something to be expected in marriage. You're going to have conflict.
Yeah.
But as many times as we had conflicts, we did not have resolutions. And it's important that you have that. You may not, his wife likes to plan it out, and it may be where you may not be able to come to a resolution right then, but pretty soon you need to get a resolution so you can properly close those conflicts. Because Barry, I don't want to say that.
It festers because you hold
That
on
too,
to somebody
and
holding on to it.
That's true. And buried feelings never die.
Buried
And I
feelings
found that
never die.
out when it comes to marriage. You can be mad about something
That's real talk,
and just
boy.
cover it. But those feelings don't ever die.
Never.
They fester back up.
And they're going to come back out.
They are. And most of the time they come back in a way where you ain't even expecting.
Yeah,
But
man.
now we fighting about this, but I'm going all the way back to, well, no, 5
You
months
remember
ago.
that
You
year?
said,
Yeah,
There you go.
man.
So you gotta be able to have resolutions in that. And that's something, and I will say, not blaming my parents or anything like that, but I didn't grow up in a home where I actually saw marriage and how it worked. I didn't see all that. So I got married from the perspective, okay, well, I'm going to do it because this is what the church said do. And then when I got married, I realized, like, whoa, there's some real life conflicts that come just from being married. And there's some conflicts when you come from being single and a young man. When you're talking about being married, you bring yourself into a whole nother element that if you're not prepared for it, or if you're not in the atmosphere of brothers who actually want to be married,
that's
it's
serious.
difficult. It's difficult.
Everybody feel like somebody else's water is better than the black man's water.
And just talking about his franchise, and I asked about his other franchisees, and he said that most of them are like 16, 17, 18-year-old Indians. And I thought to myself, I was like, I don't know many African Americans who have their own franchise.
Let alone at that age.
At that age.
And we have to realize of every culture, we were not all one people in Africa.
We've been singing the same song for 400 years.
Yeah.
Why don't we support each other? Well, like you said earlier, we don't even know each other.
But if you don't understand the weight of it, you'll put somebody else's weight or some other weight on your shoulder. That's not even your responsibility.
What we have to do, you want to break the cycle? You got to get out the system. That's what my dad said. If you really want to break the cycle, you got to get out the system.
And we can't go buy no house, so we got to differentiate ourselves. So I got to go get these J's because I might be in the hood, but I'm jaywalking. You know what I'm saying? I got my Robin jeans on, and I ain't broke like him, but I stay right next door to him.
Right.
But I'm different.
Right.
And that just blew my mind is that other cultures, they really gather around each other and help each other up, but we're always in competition with each other.
The argument that everybody tell you is, you know, I spend money with my black people and then they do me wrong one time. Well, you go to McDonald's every day and they spit in your face.
There's different tribes, different languages spoke. And then you took those people, snatched them from their tribe, put them on a boat with people who they couldn't even speak the same language. We all were the same color, but we did not share the same language.
I never have.
Like negativity. Like that's the language.
Oh, I can't
Like I don't speak fluid negativity because that will injure me.